So if you hear me, then we start in 2 minutes. Okay, I think we can start. Welcome to my first stream. It's about SCIA Engineer, and it's about the input table in the SCIA Engineer. My name is Ivan Beleš. It's not working. My name is Ivan Beleš, and I am support engineer for SCIA and IDEA Statica. Because it's a first stream, I have selected a little bit easier topic, not so heavy, and it's about the input table. Input table is like a second view moment. You should see my screen. Okay, sorry. The input table is something like a second view on your structure. Usually you are working in the 3D window, and in this 3D window you can select all members and edit the properties, but the table shows you also the structure, the library objects, and for example the loads, and now in version 24 also the construction stages, and you can edit them on another way, like in this 3D window. So you can input the values, you can change the values, you can make selection, you can filter the structure, and you can export this table, for example, to engineering report, but also to Excel, and reimport back to SCIA Engineer. So I have prepared a lot of smaller topics, and we go through all of these things. You can write me comment. At the moment I don't see it, it's on the second screen, but write if you want something in the chat window. I will read it if I'm back in SCIA Engineer. So if you use the table editor and you change something in the layout, you add new columns, new tables, or delete some tables, it's saved in your standard configuration file. So if you go in SCIA Engineer to save configuration, to user configuration, and if you save it, then it's there. And also if you leave SCIA Engineer, it's in the standard configuration already saved. And now we can go to the basics. How to start the table editor, go to the tools and to the input table, and you have the table editor. You can stretch it, of course. In the table editor, there are some workstations. It was in the past 3. Now we have also the construction stages. And according of this workstation, which is activated, you get some tables, for example, for members or for nodes. You can add new tables with the right mouse button. Then you see some tables have this blue-green bar. They are activated and some are deactivated, so you can activate them. You can move them to the left, to the right, and if you don't want to have them, you can move them to this trash bin and then they disappear. So this is about the table, the basic topics. The columns, you can sort the columns according, for example, the x coordinate from the highest to the lowest value, or opposite way, or the default sorting. You can move the columns if you want. With the right mouse button, you can hide the column, and if you want to have new columns, then simply click on this column selector and you can activate some additional columns or deactivate what you don't need. Okay. I watch also on the second screen on the comments if there is something important which I have to answer. So I will switch to the PowerPoint and back to SCIA Engineer. I hope it's not so much disturbing for you. So the next one is yes, context menus. There are some context menus. You can almost everywhere click with the right mouse button on the column, on some cell, and also here in the multi-edit box, and also on the tables. So if you don't know what you can do with this item, then click with the right mouse button. Filter, it's nice feature. I use it a lot. I deactivate this visibility, activate the filter. Now I can go to the 1D members, and I have a lot of members in my table, and I see, for example, here the cross section. I know there are some, each EA 450, so you can write simply 450. You don't need to use the wildcards like for example, in the Windows. If you search for files, you don't need to write asterisk or question mark. Simply write a part of the text. There is a little bit more also. So this was very easy. Or you can write, for example, each AA, then you get all EGA sections. So this is a very I use it very often. Then there are also a little bit more complicated ways how to write the search box. Stay simply with the mouse on this search box and on this filter row, and then you get some additional informations. We have the brackets, we have round and square brackets. You can combine them. Left, for example, a round bracket, on the right side, square bracket. The round bracket means it is without this value. For example, we are looking for all lengths between 1 meter and 3 meters, but inclusive of these 3 meters. So I want to have all members with the length of 3 meters. So if I change the sorting, then you see the 3 meters. If I change it to round bracket, then I don't have these 3 meters. So if you want to empty this filter row, click here, then you empty only this one column, or here you can empty the entire row. So this is about the filtering. It's a nice function. It was there already. Selecting. Oh, sorry. If you select something in the 3D model, then it's selected also in the table, and also on the opposite way. If you select something in the table, then it's selected in the 3D model. So go back to this 450. I select this row, go to the end, select with shift key the last row, and you see they are selected. And also, if I select these two members, then they have to be, I have to delete the filter, and they should be somewhere selected. So I select a little bit more, then it's a little bit better visible, you see. So all these members, they are selected, are visible with this yellow row also in the table input. So, and shows only selected members. Okay, this is also a nice function. For example, I want to do something with these beams, then I go selected rows only, and I see only 4 rows, so I can change it a little bit easier to not to go through all to full the model. Select, deselect, I don't go in SCIA Engineer. With control you can deselect, but you know, with control you can deselect also in 3D model, and with escape you deselect also in SCIA Engineer. Select by property. Nice thing is if you want to select, so go back to the full structure, and I would like to select again the same cross section or some different cross section. I click on some property, and here is a button select by property in cell. So all UPE of 140 members are selected. So if you get some structure from your colleague, you don't know where are the members or loads or something else, or hinges, for example, you send me a file that it's unstable, and then I tell you that in this and this hinge you have some issue, then you can find it also on this way. Visibility. If you use visibility, and I think you use it, we can go to visibility by layers, for example, and I will select only first and second frame, and then if I click, where is it, visibility in table, then I see only members, they are in the structure visible. So also to shrink a little bit the table. Selecting is select the range of cells is important. If you want to export something to Excel, simply go with the left mouse button, with pushed left mouse button over an area, then it's selected. Also the row. In the help, it's written that you can do it also with some clicking on this row header, but I was not successful. I do it also on this way. Simply like the area, also the row, and also the column. It's the same. Simply drag with the mouse. Then the loads. We go to the loads, and sorry. I will activate the full structure, Control Q. Go to the loads, go to the surface loads, and now I see all surface loads from all load cases. So I forgot to say on the start, it will take something about 20 or 25 minutes. You see loads from all load cases. If you want to see loads only from one load case, for example, from this G2, then there is a button for it. Then you see only loads from G2, and you can change them if you want. Multi-edit box, we stay at the loads, and you see I have 2.5 and 1.5, and here is the multi-edit box. You can click with the right mouse button and look what you can do. You can multiply, you can subtract some basic mathematical operations, and you can replace a value. So we start with this replacing. I want to have all these 4 loads with -3. So if I write -3, then it's a mathematical operation, and it subtracts from my cell values 3. But this is not what I want to have. I go back. I will replace the value. So I write is greater than -3 and enter, and then all these values are replaced with -3. So, and all of the operations are very simple to explain. It's nothing special. We go to the rounding on the end. This is the last slide and last topic. Multi-edit box can be used also for renaming. Go back to to the structure, to the 1D members, and for example, I will select all columns. So go to the columns and say all columns, expand selection. I can go to Control E and activate only a part of them. So I see all these columns. So now you can select them simply with the mouse, or select the first one and go to the last one and shift button, like in Excel. You can select them, and then you can write another name. For example, it should be column .1. What happened now? SCIA Engineer will replace all values with column 1. This will work for the first column, but the second column cannot have the name column 1 because such name already exists in the structure. So it will be column 2 and so on. So you can simply rename and also renumber with one value, push enter, and you see it was shortly column 1 and no column 2 and so on. So you can rename all these things. For example, walls in one floor, in the first floor has W.101 and another number. Control Q, we see everything. So this is for the renambering. Okay. Then copy members. I have second structure. I don't know if you will use it, but the possibility is there. So I select these 3 members and I want to copy them. Then I write simply relative coordinates 0 in x direction, blank 3 meters in the y direction, and click here to copy row. Then you get a copy of your structure with some specific distance. You can copy also additional data. For example, this supports. So this support is selected, and I want to copy them to node N7, to this node, from N1 to N7. These are additional data. Then don't write the coordinate, the distance. Write simply the target node or target member. Copy row, and then it's here. So there is also a simple way. You can do it also with the right mouse button and copy additional data and select this node. But it's there in the table, so you can use it. Search. You can search also with the callback. You can search also in this multi-edit box. Simply write a question mark, for example, 3.0, enter, and then you get all these 3.0 values, whatever they are in this table. For example, it could be also in some length, and then you get them. So if you search for some value, you don't know what is it, then you can write it also in this multi-edit box. Then yes, deleting. You can delete also the rows, but you can delete also with delete button on your keyboard. That's the same. New row. This is a specific topic. You can go to the help and look how you can do it. For example, I would like to create a new member here. Then I go to 1D members, and you see some of these cells are blue. They are recommended, so you must write some value there, and some of them don't need to be filled in, because if you leave it empty, then SCIA Engineer will use some default value. So we can write, for example, this is the diagonal dot 101, and then I write it's from N1 to N4, and after I push enter, this is the last recommended cell, then the member is created. So you have to fill all these cells, and then the member is created. Okay, a nice feature is the cooperation with Excel. For example, I have some node numbers. So I have their numbers, nodes. I will not sort them. So I simply select the full table, Control C, and go to Excel, and with Control V, I can put it into the Excel. And now I can write some column, for example, distance. And this will be the distance from the origin of the coordinate system, from 0, 0. So this is the square root. Oh, equal square root from x squared plus y squared plus z squared. Okay, that's the distance, and I can fill all these cells with the same value, Control D. So, and now I want to rename, but if you rename it, I need to change the sorting according to this distance from the smallest value to the biggest value. But if I do it, I cannot copy it back to SCIA Engineer. I have to copy them in the same sorting like it was copied to here. So therefore, I create each time one column, 1, 2, 3, and you can drag it to the bottom of the table. Then we have the original sorting. Now I can activate filter, say I filter them from smallest value to the largest value, and you can write, you can create also a new column if you want. This is n. I write .1. I don't use n1 because then I would have the same numbers like they are already in SCIA Engineer, and it cannot be replaced if this number already exists or this name already exists. So you have to use some different names. So n1, n.2, and n.3. This should be enough. We can drag them to the bottom. Okay. So now restore the original sorting, and I can now select this column. And if you select more, you can do it. You can change also coordinates. If you select as area, not one column, and you go back, then you have to select the left top cell in your selection. This is like placing picture over picture. So, and now Control V, and they are replaced. Now we have another node numbers. You can use it with members, whatever you want. And if we now activate the node numbers, we see it start here, and the last one must be here. 186 is the highest distance from the 0 point. So you can copy paste. You can also create new rows if you copy them back to SCIA Engineer. So it can be used also for creating a new members. So very easy to export a table to engineering report. I will start some engineering report, some new one, report 3, start it, and I can simply export this table to report 3, insert close, and now I should have it here. Okay, it's there. So if you have some loads and you want to have the documentation, you can do it on this way. The last one is rounding. It's asked sometimes from customers. In this second model, I have some weird coordinates. You see 2.95 the height, 3.01. So I can select all of them, go to the nodes, then we can say selected rows only, then we have some values, and you can write this tilde and round. For example, 0.01 is rounding for 2 decimal points. If you write 0.02, then you will round to 96 or 3.02. So you can round also to 5. You can round to 1 decimal point. Or if you want to have integer value, simply write round to 1, and we have all integers, and then all values are replaced. That's all. I have to go back if there are some questions. And yes, 22 minutes, so it was not too long. Thank you very much for watching. It will be saved on YouTube, and then you will see the video also on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, and have a nice day.